Everyone is speaking out about Calgary Flames young star Matvei Gridin and if he has done enough in the preseason to earn a spot on the NHL roster for the regular season starting next week. The Flames have some big decisions to make regarding their roster, with Gridin making all of the headlines. We're going to get to all that more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. Let's hop in and start with last night's game, as it was the last game of the preseason for the Calgary Flames. And, a lot of people are saying it looked more like the Flames team that, we're expected to see in the regular season. It was definitely more of a complete NHL roster. Obviously not the whole team, as there are no Huberdeau and others. But the Flames actually dropped this one 5-4 in a shootout to the Winnipeg Jets. I have never seen a game end in that way. If you haven't seen the shootout, the winning goal in the shootout was honestly kind of insane, almost unbelievable way. Puck bounces up, Wolf tries to catch it, it bobbles a few times, bounces a few times, ends up in the net somehow. Flames lose, who cares? It's the preseason is over. Thank goodness, honestly. And if we get into how the Flames did in the preseason, so they went 3-4 in 7 preseason games, and obviously some of them was against tougher competition, some of them the Flames iced better, lineups than their opponents, and others vice versa. So I don't know, honestly, how I feel about this Flames team. Going 3-4 in 7 games, I mean, whatever. It's the preseason. Who cares about the record? But I don't know. The Flames, to me, don't look fantastic. And it's not like we expect them to, win the Stanley Cup or anything this year. But this preseason doesn't fill me with confidence, is all I'll say. Some guys have looked great. Some guys have looked terrible. And if we actually get into the box score, let's start with the goalie. So Dustin Wolf last night, he obviously does get the OT loss after the little shootout blunder there. But he gives up 4 goals on 35 shots against a pretty good Jets lineup. So not his best game, of course, not his worst game. He said, I want to get all the bad bounces over with now. And I sure hope that's the case, because that was an interesting game to say the least. Some, usual names getting on the score sheet. So Kadri, he gets a couple goals. Gridin gets yet another goal for the Flames. And he's the main man of this video, who we will, of course, be talking about in a second here. Joel Hanley had a little bit of a snipe, a little nacho party there. Klapka, 2 assists. That's good for him. He needed to really show why he deserves a spot at the NHL level. Kevin Ball getting 2 assists. Farabee and Frost stay hot, obviously, in the preseason. Hopefully that translates to the regular season. We could really use it. And Weegs gets the last point for all the Flames last night. So again, a whatever game, a whatever preseason, bring on the regular season. There will be obviously some roster decisions to be made, and that is exactly what everyone is speaking out about. So why don't we just hop into it? It's the main talking point. And honestly, not just the main talking point, of this video in particular, but it's been the main talking point pretty much since the Next Gen Showcase. And it's been, Matvei Gridin, does he deserve a spot on the NHL roster? Now, before we hop into all of it, I've said this in a few previous videos, but to me, yes, the offense is there. He probably deserves a spot. He's not going to get it. The Flames are going to go with the vets. They're going to go with they think who gives them a best shot to win, which, when you need offense, you think you'd go with the guy who's been scoring a bunch of goals. But the key part is, of course, that he is waiver exempt. So he can go to the Wranglers with no problem, whereas some of the other guys fighting for the spots don't have that luxury. They're going to get the spots on the NHL roster. And you know what? That's okay. He can develop in the AHL. There won't be any roster decisions made, I believe, until Monday, actually. But still, we'll see. But anyway, like I said, everyone is talking about Gridin. So the first person, of course, Eric Francis of Sportsnet. So he writes, Flames takeaways. Gridin makes another solid pitch for opening night gig. And I'm not going to go over his whole article. Feel free to go read it if you'd like. It is quite good. But either way, Francis, he's the first guy, he's talking about it. More people talking about it. So the Calgary Herald, they write 3 takeaways. And of course, the top one, has Matvei Gridin earned a spot on the Flames roster? It's the main talking point. Literally, everyone is speaking out about it. I mean, the whole fan base. I'll get into some comments from the fan base a little bit later in this video, but I will actually hop into a little part of this article here. So they write, is there a spot for the kid? During Friday's post-game presser, Ryan Huska fielded a grand total of 9 questions, and 4 of those were about Gridin. So even the reporters, all they're talking about is Matvei Gridin. So the shortest answer was the most telling about if there's a spot. Asked if the kid had made this a difficult decision, the Flames bench boss replied, for sure. for sure. After such a convincing case, what could be working against Gridin during these final deliberations? And again, I kind of already explained what they are and why that decision will be made, because we know it will for the Flames. I mean, if it's not, I guess I wouldn't be shocked if he does make the roster, but based off of previous decisions that, the Conroy era, the Huska era have made, I wouldn't be surprised if he obviously does get sent down. But one consideration is that his spot in Friday's lineup likely won't be available on opening night. He was working alongside Morgan Frost and Matt Coronato, but Jonathan Huberdeau will round out that trio as long as his injury doesn't linger. He's officially day-to-day. If Huberdeau is injured to start the season, which he's not expected to be, maybe Gridin gets in there, but probably not. Gridin is also an easy target for demotion because he doesn't need to clear waivers to be reassigned to the AHL's Wranglers. That, to me, is the key. That's the main thing in all of this. So to keep the kid, the Flames would need to place a veteran on waivers. Daniil Miramanov, currently 8th on the defense depth chart, would be the most obvious candidate. And I know a lot of people in the fan base would be okay if that happens. A lot of people would rather see Gridin up there than some other guys. And Miro is probably casualty number 1 on that list. But Huska stressed Friday that we need whoever is going to give us a chance to win, but also reiterated that he'd rather not keep an up-and-comer around as one of his extras. If you're a young guy, you need to play, Huska said. So for me, if he's here, he's going to play. If he's not here or if he's not playing, he's going to play somewhere else. I think for a young guy, it's so important that they're in the lineup. But for me, being around him for this length of time, he does a lot of things right. He makes the simple plays with the puck at times, but he has high-end skill as well. So simple parts to his game, a little bit of flash to his game. To me, this quote is so telling. It shows, look, if he's on the NHL roster, he's not going to be playing all that much. The top minutes are going to be going to, the top guys, of course. He might not be, on the power play, on the first line. He might not even get into games. He'll just be practicing with the team. So that's very telling to me that, Huska is leaning towards obviously sending him down. He continued by saying, we know we've got a really nice young player there. He's going to do some really nice things. He played really well, so he's given himself an opportunity, and that's all we could ask of him. Again, I think that kind of just alludes to the fact that, look, we know he's really good. He played really great. He gave himself the best shot he possibly could. It's just not in the cards right now. So that's kind of, I guess, what Huska had to say about it. And again, it totally, to me, looks as though they're ready to send him down, even though he did fantastically. But it does make sense for a young guy. You want him playing the most. Maybe on the Wranglers, he'll get that opportunity to be one of, if not the number 1 guy. Now, the fan base was also talking out. So one person said Sharky can go to open up space. Miramanov too. Gridin looks like he deserves a shot. And he does deserve a shot. Sharky has looked okay in this preseason as well. Miramanov, again, as an extra, it's not a direct replacement, and since he's a defenseman, but it is a roster spot nonetheless. Another guy said, I'd be giving him a spot on the team. Flames need a young player, and the kid looks great out there, and that's valid as well. Another guy said they're going to send him down and have a 30-year-old veteran take his roster spot, a true rebuilding team. So a little bit of humor in there. It is true. The Flames they struggle to commit to anything, whether they're, going to be really good or really bad. They're just always in the mushy middle, as we know, and if they decide to obviously, give the roster spot to a vet over Gridin, which way they're leaning, which wouldn't be a shock at all. But again, you always got to be humorous as a Flames fan to keep going through it, honestly. Another person said he deserves a shot on the big club. He has earned it, and he honestly has. I guess it's just... It's not confirmed that he's not on the team, but it looks like it's not in the cards for the future. Another guy says, if Gridin doesn't make it and Bean does, everyone in the Flames organization needs to go. Again, it's not, Bean's a defenseman, Gridin's a forward, but it's a roster spot nonetheless. So it's not a direct replacement, but that's another valid take, honestly. And another person, I don't know what they're thinking, but he says he's just a tall, lanky kid with a baby face, immature. So I don't know if that guy watched Gridin much in this preseason, but I don't know if I totally agree with you there. But let me know what you think. Since everyone else is speaking about it, what do you think about Gridin? Does he deserve a spot on the NHL roster and actually get to play as well? Or would it be better to just have him develop in his waiver-exempt Wrangler spot down in the AHL? Feel free to let me know in the comments. And speaking of comments, let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. Comes from yesterday's video, of course. And this was a good comment here from Perry. So Perry said that Prosvetov should be backup, obviously after the news that Cooley earned the spot. So 3 of the goals he was hung out to dry. 1 of the goals was bad, should have had it. So He gave up 4 goals to Vancouver, and obviously he could have had some of them, or maybe even gave up 5. But 3 goals on 7 shots, that's terrible. That was Cooley's stats in that Vancouver game. Flames need to trade Andersson for Jason Robertson. Always got to throw that into the comment, and a lot of people will agree with you. And then Calgary needs the firepower. Go Flames, go. At least it always rounds out with a go Flames, go, and that's what we need as the regular season is, of course, right around the corner. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.